DWF. This is going to be a little different because I had to record the audio after I recorded the video. So, yeah, might cut this up a little bit. Anyways, hello, hi, welcome, how is everybody? It's been a minute because I didn't get an episode out last week. My fault, my bad, but still trucking along. So, let's get into this. What's today's DWF about? Well, I couldn't get a guest, and this was kind of done last minute, as in the night before you see this. So, I had to do something off the top of my head, and today's topic, I figured, zombies. Why not? Why not draw some cute little zombos? Some disgusting little boys, So, off the top of my head, we're doing zombies. So the way I usually start out pieces is I just kind of think about what I kind of want for a second, just take a minute. What's the overall tone I'm going for? And for the first zombie, I start off with his shoulders. I want him kind of hunched over. That was my initial idea, right? So I start off with the shoulders and the neckline, where everything is. And I want him to be kind of hunched over, kind of like creeping along, as to, getting his way, making his way downtown kind of deal. So I start with the shoulders and kind of mold the body out from that, and just kind of work with it, kind of like clay, kneading it into the form you want it to be. So I start off, I start thinking, what do I want out of him? Well, I took his arm away, so there was that. Took his little left arm away, put some bite marks in it, and make it look a little more fun, cooler, I guess. Sticking with a more, thick-lined, cartoony style for this Zombo. So I take some time, I kind of figure out what's going on, what's the overall idea here. Putting in some lines, some small details, like trying to get it through. Here I am, like drawing his hand, getting it kind of clawish, like it's really just kind of like flopping over itself kind of deal. Can't really grip anything. I think initially I was going to take away one of his fingers on his hand, but I think I forgot about that later on. So, putting in the face lines, trying to work out the shape of his face, what do I want from it? Do I want him to have eyes? Do I want to take eyes away from him? That kind of deal. And, just going over ideas in my brain, putting them down on the canvas, don't forget to draw along with the video, guys. I want to see your art too. Make sure you tag it with hashtag DWF or just at me on Twitter. I check the tag a lot, even though nobody posts. But that's fine. We'll get there one day, my friends. So with his hair, I wanted it to be more scraggly, kind of messy, messed up kind of deal going on. Put some bite marks in his ear, maybe. Trying to have fun with the piece, So here I kind of shrink him so that I can better work out the rest of his body, right? I want to do the whole body. So I'm trying to figure out, like, how is he hunched over? What kind of legs does he have? Kind of give him some chicken bone legs, thin him out a little bit. I wanted it to be like, one foot was ahead of the other. One maybe stepping back a little bit. Took me a minute to get the correct posture out of it, but I think it turned out pretty decent. Gave him some pretty big feet for his stature, Maybe he was a tall, lanky dude named Bryce, and now he's a zombie. Who knows? So we're gonna move him over off to the side there, kind of just scooch him off, because we're gonna do a second zombie. And my thought for a second zombie would be like, well, you have the thin, lanky zombie. Let's make a really buff, kind of like the Charger from Left 4 Dead, like a really buff zombie. Maybe he was a football player or something, right? So after we scooch him off a little bit, we're gonna start on the big buff Zombo. I'm right in your ear. How does it feel? Alright, so here we go. So big buff zombie. Well, how do you start that? Well, I wanted him to make him, blocky. He's big. So I started with, big shapes, kind of roughing out what I want. Gave him like a little legs, little torso, lower half of the torso. Kind of accentuate that he's big and brawny up top. A little top heavy, football player-esque. For this one, I really wanted to accentuate that like one leg was farther back. Like maybe he was getting ready to start running towards you, or maybe he's in mid-stride, who knows. Keeping the thick lines, trying to keep it all a little cartoony. I will say I don't like the way I did his foot here in the front, just because like it's a little too much. Should have done better to work on the angle, but I was just drawing this straight with no references, just running with it, seeing what I can do. Just kind of why this guy's arms are like super huge, but keeping it cartoony, keeping it fun. Kind of hulkish with the green lines there. Working out the anatomy a little bit. So like whenever you're working with changing size on characters, right? You want to keep the volume in mind. So like if they're big up top, make them a little bit little on the bottom, or if their hips are like wider, you want to make the top half a little smaller, just to keep a volume, right? An aspect of volume. If you're going to stretch one part of the anatomy, you have to take mass from another. So you want to like, just so it all works out, kind of, So here I was playing with the idea that like maybe his tank top's a little torn and ripped up. Maybe like one thing hanging off or whatever. I'm not really sure. I don't remember exactly what I ended up going with, but we'll find out soon. So what happened? Why am I recording the audio after the fact? Well, you see, my microphone decided to be really mean to me, big ol' bitch, and it kept cutting out while I was drawing, so eventually I just gave up. There's actually a lot of commentary I recorded while drawing and really kind of liked, but well, it's gone. So we're doing this. So here I started lining it, and lining for me is pretty fun. It lets me go over the piece, and figure out what exactly do I want from the piece. Me personally, I believe that it helps me out a lot. I think it's where my style starts to really define itself, because now you're working on finalizing it. Whenever I'm sketching, I'm just trying to put out the idea of whatever, right? Because now I'm not modeling a thing anymore. I'm correcting it. I'm course correcting in a way. So I'm looking at the details and trying to refine it down to a piece that I enjoy and that I hope the quality is well enough for others to enjoy. I don't know if this is entertaining to listen to me talk about my own art process, but maybe some of you like that. Who knows? The show has no set format yet, so just gonna keep on keeping on. I really do enjoy lining my art. It's one of the more fun things I find. I know a lot of people dread it, a lot of people dislike it. I honestly like the feel of the flow once I start getting into it. Now this, I feel, is where I really messed up on the foot here. I should have done more to accentuate its 3D shape, because it looks like a very 2D potato or piece of bread, if we're gonna be honest. So it's not very appealing, but that's just part of looking back on your art and critiquing it, so you know to think about it later. So here I am messing with the arms over here, messing with the thickness of these lines a little bit, changing the hand position a little, making it fall more behind his leg. I think I did that mainly because I'm lazy. I'm gonna be completely honest, but we all have our vices. This one I worked on the hand. I actually changed the hand on this too, just because I didn't like the open hand, so I decided to close it up and see how that looked. And I felt like gave it a little bit more, like attitude, I guess, or like more urgency, because now his fist is clenched and he's coming after you. I had to play with the idea of his wrist and forearm a little bit, because I just wasn't liking the form of it. And now we go on to the scrawny boy. So here I started accentuating the features of his face a little bit better, making it look more ghoulish, a little thinner, I like playing with the mouth shape a little bit, give him a little droopy droop going down the side there. I didn't do the bite mark in his ear. I think that's just because I forgot mainly, but it still looks fine, you know. Wasn't a necessity of it. Getting those chicken legs in, drawing his shoes on now. I didn't really make the shoe shapes all that well when I was working out the sketch, but you can see I put a little bit more effort into the idea of him here. I decided to put a little bite mark in his leg there just to, you know, again, accentuate the piece a little, make it a bit more fun. I started blacking out a few things just because I figured that I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time shading this, so I wanted to make some areas darker than others right off the bat. Now, whenever you see someone blacking out areas in like their work or something, it's usually it's not necessarily because they're lazy. Some people like to use it for tonal purposes. I personally do use it because I get a little lazy with wanting to shade and color a lot. So I'll go ahead and preemptively go through and just black out some areas just so I don't have to spend way too much time thinking about them. Here I am fixing this guy's arm again because I'm still not happy with it. Go figure, an artist isn't happy, right? Here I kind of go over some of the lines, just working with the thickness of them. Alright, so now we're gonna get to coloring. The way I usually approach coloring, I try to start it a little differently the first time here, but I defaulted back to the way I usually go through it. I usually like selecting the outside of the lines, and then I'll increase like the area by 3 pixels and then invert it, right? And then go a layer under, and with a flat color, just color in the area. Just give it a quick go through. And then any pieces that didn't get colored or need to be erased, I'll go back through and fix that up later, right? What this lets you do, though, is blocking out the colors over the silhouettes of the figures. It lets you go a layer above them and do masking layers. Masking layers let you color on whatever's below and only on whatever's below, right? So here in a little bit, I'm going to make a new layer. And I'm going to grab a different colored green and start going over it a little bit, and then making it, you know, more, start really working the colors through. So here I am getting a layer, I add masking, and then I go through, I grab the color I want, and the brush I want, and I start just laying over the color underneath, start accentuating it, you know, using a bit of a lighter green to pull out more, like, ghoulishy feel, I guess. More zombie-esque feel, and then I'll go back through, I'll get maybe even a lighter color like this close to white green right here, and start just dabbing it in areas a little bit. I'll go back through and I'll grab an even darker green and do the same. Just dab it around, you know, put it on the piece, just kind of give it more color and more blend. And then I'll actually go through and I'll grab a blending brush, just a basic one that Clip Studio has, and I'll just move the colors around, mix them up a little bit, blend them together. Nothing too crazy, not doing anything too insane and painterly at all. But then I'll go over with a blur brush and smooth it all out, and that usually makes things pop a little better or look a bit more refined. Even though you've really just taken colors, blended them, and then blurred them up a little bit so that they look more smooth. And then after that, you know, I'll go through, I'll start grabbing colors. I think I grab a blue, and I go through and I start working and just painting in the blue. I think I use a watercolor brush of some sort while doing this. I just kind of grabbed one or whatever. I think it was actually, no, it was a custom brush. It was the gesture brush I have. I believe I downloaded that one, but it works just like a watercolor brush, just with a richer color. But the entire time while I'm doing these colors, I am putting them on separate layers so that I don't affect the colors I've already laid down. That way it's a little easier to mess with them if I need to, if I ever need to blend anything, if I feel like it, if I ever do. I do add some like little red spots, little red blotches on the clothes here, just because I thought it'd be a little bit more interesting than what I had. I gave the skinny guy some purpley pants. I don't remember why. I think I just liked the way it looked on top of the green, so I just rolled with it. I think I go through and then add a little highlights with the lighter purple. Don't really smudge them in or anything. Just kind of laying down and leave them. This is hard. I feel like this is boring. I'm sorry. Let's change it up a little bit. Might be a little too late in the episode to start just talking like a normal human being and not like describing the shit that's going on screen, but let's go for it. So, what have I been up to? I'm not sure what Bryce has been up to, but what I have is I've been just, living life, living it well. Going around, I'm in Alabama now, so I've been exploring the locale, doing walks, started exercising a bit more. Got a weight set, small weight set, trying to get a little bit more healthy, thin myself out a little bit, that'd be nice, I feel. Just that kind of jazz, just going about my life as I do. I don't know if any of you care. I have been working more and more on my own personal work. Been looking for more commissions so I could buy a new desk. I really do need one. The one I'm at now is fairly tiny and very uncomfortable to work at, but it's what I've got, so I'll deal with it. I've been working more on the way my art looks. I've been really trying to cement my own style just so I can have, I don't know, just so things just feel more like my own. I've been working a lot with colors lately, been watching a lot of different color theory things and then just kind of working with it myself. I've been trying to work more with backgrounds. I haven't really posted a whole lot of background art, but I've been doing more, technical works and stuff on my own time and in my own space just for me and not really sharing them out. Maybe I'll share them, probably not. I've been working on trying to figure out things to do for the Patreon and do things for the channel. We do have new thumbnails that I made for Bryce. Some new basic thumbnails, since I can't necessarily, paint every new thumbnail anymore. Oh, so here, I did something a little different, something I don't do. I decided I wanted to just go ahead and freeform paint a background for this piece. It's not the best, and I knew it wasn't going to be the best. It's kind of honestly quite shit, but I figured I'd just go ahead and give it a shot, since I was already recording this late, and maybe, just get some extra practice in while recording. So I figured I'd do like more of a highway coming out of a city and then painting in a city behind it. You can see I'm just kind of throwing shapes in there. A lot of just rectangles and stuff. Yeah, here I am. I decided, I don't know why I suddenly decided to do this. I decided to put some light posts. I guess just to mess with like perspective a little bit. I also don't know why anything has lights. You would figure in a zombie apocalypse the city is pretty much done, right? So I will fully admit though, these lights are kind of shite. I just kind of rushed this bit just because I wanted to freeform paint it, just get it out, get it on the paper, and that was it. Here I'm drawing a bus stop thing, I guess. I don't know why I decided to go with that. Again, I was just kind of experimenting, throwing things on the canvas at this point. Just kind of having fun with it. I'm not sure if the blue is like a window or like one of those subway posters or whatever. Yeah, you always see it on like bus stations and stuff or whatever. Gave my hand drawing a little bench there. Again, I've been trying to practice more technical drawing, so it was kind of fun trying to throw in some of that practice here onto this. Well, I've also been practicing more painterly drawing, which is why I'm not making lines for any of this, which and usually I would sit down and object everything and try to line it all, But I wanted to just kind of give this a bit more of a free chance here. Here I'm going through with my gesture brush. I'm going to use it to smooth out the lights here a little bit. In all honesty, this background is kind of garbage. But, you know, sometimes you just kind of leap and hope it looks decent, you know? The lights here kind of suck. They're a little too bright, if you ask me. There's so much more you can do to make it look better. But, you know, I didn't have the time. And I didn't want to spend 6 hours or so trying to do this. And I hope it turned out well enough for you guys, because if not, I'd feel kind of bad. Oh, here I go like a layer below it and start laying down where I want, you know, just to see how things are going to bleed through the colors. Actually grab a gray and start smothering it underneath just to get that. I might cut these out, but I actually accidentally bumped the scrolls for the canvas a few times, and it drags the canvas over, and that's always annoying. But here's basically where we are in the final piece. Yeah, it's not the best. I do really like how the zombies came out though. I might save them with just a white background behind them, but yeah. Oh wait, I forgot I draw little zombos in the background. Just kind of like gestured in zombies. And here I am writing all the stuff that will eventually become the thumbnail. Maybe this will be interesting for you guys to watch. Actually sit down with the calligraphy pen on Clip Studio and just write everything in. I'm sure you could probably make the effect better in Clip Studio, but I just kind of duplicated the layer, changed the color, and then moved it along. I don't know why I draw hearts in just about everything. There's something about hearts that I just like aesthetically, I guess. Love. I wasn't sure whether or not to write zombie or zombo, or just leave it as or how to write zombie. I kept like overthinking it, I think. Well guys, this has been another episode of DWF. The drawing podcast, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully this was interesting and you guys enjoyed this. Gonna edit this now, and you guys will see this later today actually, because it is 1 a.m. when I'm doing this. So yeah, hope you guys like it. If you've drawn along with the video, I'd love to see your zombies. Post them on Twitter with the tag #DWF, or at me at Zers on Twitter. You'll see the links after I'm done talking. You know, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Support the Patreon if you want. It's only $1. You get plenty of art from me, and you'll get far more art in the future. And you know, thanks for watching. Cue in Failpositive's music. By the way, music by Failpositive. Go check him out. He's great. He's on Twitter. His jams are the best. Love that guy. And I love you guys. See you later.